Hey guys, today's topic of the video is going to be about an important very important poem written by William Wordsworth, which is Lucy Gray and also called Solitude. In this video, we will be covering the introduction, summary, poem text, analysis of all stanzas, major themes and style and literary devices included in this poem. But before starting, I will suggest you to subscribe to my channel so that you can get all my literature related videos. Also follow me on Instagram so that you can get all the literary updates from there. So starting without any ado, from the introduction of this poem is published in William Wordsworth lyrical ballad. Such an important and famous work written by Wordsworth, which is lyrical ballad. He wrote this poem in 1798. It was a time of romanticism. This poem is all about the death of a little and miserable girl, Lucy Gray. This poem refers to the death of Wordsworth's sister, Dorothy Wordsworth. It is a ballad and is written in rhymed couplets, and rhyme scheme of the whole poem is AB AB. The theme of death, which is depicted in this poem, is also a very common theme in most of his poems, in Wordsworth's poems. Moving towards the text of this poem, this is the text of the poem. This poem is very it's of normal length, have equal stanzas, but it is very refreshing, heart-wrenching and easy poem. So starting with first two stanzas. Oft I had heard of Lucy Gray, and when I crossed the wild, I chanced to see at break of day. The solitary child, no mate, no comrade, Lucy knew. She dwelt on a wild moor, the sweetest thing that ever grew beside a human door. Analysis of these two stanzas. The poet often hears of Lucy Gray. She is a child, and one day he sees her in the evening. She is a beautiful and lovely and lonely child. She has no friend, and she is living on a wild moorland, on marshy place. The poet says that she is the most beautiful and innocent thing in the world ever. He has seen such a beautiful thing ever in his life, which is Lucy Gray. In the first stanza, the poet provides foreshadowing of the rest of the poem. In last line of the second stanza, the poet is using hyperbole because he is saying that Lucy Gray is the sweetest thing that ever grew beside a human door. Moving towards third and fourth stanzas, you yet may spy the fawn at play, the hare upon the green, but the sweet face of Lucy Gray will never more be seen. Tonight will be a stormy night. You to the town must go and take a lightened child to light your mother through the snow. Analysis of third and fourth stanzas. The poet is inviting us to see her by saying that we can witness a fawn playing in front of her door, and here playing in the green grass, but you cannot see her sweet face, the sweet face of Lucy Gray. One day, Lucy's mother went to the market and a storm comes. Her father tells her daughter, who is Lucy Gray, to take her mother from the market. He says to her that it will be a stormy night and she must go to the market and take the lantern with her to light the passage and accompany her mother through the snowy path. Moving towards fifth and sixth stanzas, That, Father, will I gladly do. The scarcely afternoon, the minister clock had just struck 2, and yonder in the moon, at this father raised his hook and snapped a faggot band. He piled his work, and Lucy took the lantern in her hand. Analysis of 5th and 6th stanzas. Lucy replies to her father that she will do it gladly. She will go after her mother, and it is not too late because the master's clock has just struck 2 and the sky is clear now. She answered her father confidently that she will take her mother easily before the storm comes. Listening this, her father raised his sickle and snapped a faggot band and started back his work. So he has gotten into his work, and Lucy has taken the lantern and goes to her mother. And Lucy takes the lantern in her hand and goes in search of her mother, who is taken by a storm. Stanza 7th and 8th. Not bitter in the mountain row, with many a wet stroke, her feet disperse the powdery snow that rise up like smoke. The storm come in before this time. She wandered up and down, and many a hill did Lucy climb, but never reached the town. Analysis. Due to the upcoming storm, the mountain row is not happy. The mountain rows are deer-like animals. They are not happy. They can foresee the calamity coming. Thus, and the snow is flying and dispersing with her feet, and it raises like smoke. But the storm comes before its time, before its for predicted time, and she climbs up and down through several mountains, but she never reaches the town. Moving towards 9th and 10th stanzas, the wretched parents all the night went shouting far and wide, and there was neither sound nor sight to serve them for a guide. At daybreak on a hill they stood, they overlooked the moor, and thence they see the bridge of wood, a furlong from their door. Analysis of 9th and 10th stanza. Such a sad depiction of her death. When her mother come home and find that Lucy is not at home, her desperate parents go out to find her and shout everywhere to find her, but they neither find the side of their daughter, not her voice which can guide them to her. When the evening comes, they stand on the hill and see all over the moorland to find her. And from there they see a wooden bridge which is near to their home, but find nothing. Analysis of moving towards stanza 12 and 11 and 12. And now they homeward turned and cried, "In heaven we all shall meet." But when in the snow the mother spied the print of Lucy's feet, then downward from the steep hill's edge they tracked the footmarks small, and through the broken hawthorn edge, and by the long stone wall. Analysis of 11 and 12 stanzas. They cried and go back to the home, and they think that they will meet in heaven again. They thought that they will meet in heaven, like Lucy has died. But at the same time, when her mother watches Lucy's footprints on the snow accidentally, and downward the steep hill edges, they track her mark, and they trace them through a hawthorn edge and by the long stone wall. Moving towards stanza 14 and 13 and 14, and then an open field they crossed. The mark was still the same. They tracked them on, nor ever lost, and to the bridge they came. They followed from the snowy bank the footmarks on one by one into the middle of the plank, and further there were none. Analysis. They go at last or to an open field. There was the same mark of Lucy's foot, and they tracked these signs too. And then they came to a bridge. By tracing their mark, they reached to a bridge, and on a snowy bank, they followed the footmarks, the footprints, one by one, and they come to the middle of the plank, and her signs disappear. It seemed that she had fallen down from there. Moving towards stanza 13 and 15 and 16. Yet some mountains that to this day she is a living child, that you may see Lucy, sweet Lucy Gray, upon the lonesome wild, over rough and smooth she tipped along and never looked behind, and sings a solitary song that whistles in the wind. Analysis. From that day, many people remember her. She is like a living child, and people can see her sweet face. People can see her alone, who is at a smooth, rough paths and never look back again. And she used to sing solitary songs that are now parts of the winds. She has now become the part of the nature, that she has died. Moving towards the major themes of this poem: death, beauty, hopelessness. There is a kind of hopelessness and bleakness in this poem. Innocence and childhood, love, nature, parental love, winter, and natural calamity. Moving towards the last slides, the literary devices and style and devices. William Wordsworth had applied aesthetic elements and features in this poem using 5 senses. Using all devices, he makes the scene in front of the reader to experience it. Wordsworth has employed a vast theme of beauty in his poem, as it is a major weapon of him. Use of phrase like Hawthorne at, solitary song, and whistles in the wind are alliterations. Use of hyperbole. Hyperbole is a over exaggeration of a situation for poetic purpose. Use of hyperbole is evident in the second stanza, last line. First line of this poem is foreshadowing on the rest of this poem, as it provides the information about Lucy Gray's fate. Thanks for watching. I hope you will like or dislike this video. Also comment on the comment box for further inquiry, and don't forget to subscribe this channel, and thank you.